everyone, and welcome to our Wave 1 2026 updates for finance and supply chain management specifically. I should mention that we used to do a kind of double header with me and one of my colleagues to cover the customer engagement bits, but it got so large that we couldn't do them all in one. So you've got me for finance and operations, and my colleague Shillan, I think, has either already done or is going to do the customer engagement. And I think there's so much in project operations this time around as well. We'll probably put one on for project operations as a separate thing. I'm going to hop off camera now, so I will proceed through the slideshow. As Debbie said, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If we can answer them now, we will do. We may respond to everybody in a group message afterwards, but if I can answer them now, I certainly will do. So for those that aren't aware, the release plans are released twice a year. You can go to this website to see the current one, and then every time it's released, there will be usually a Microsoft event, which I think was 6 days ago. You can find that on YouTube as per a link I'll send round. And there's another one around, I think, October time, September, October time. The notes tend to come out. If you want to build your own release plan relevant to you, you can sign in to this release plan site. And build up and have a little search through, and it's not just the current release, it's all releases, sort of pending and just released functionality. And you can see here this little plus here. If I was to sign in, I can build my own release plan, so I can see if GA dates, generally available dates, change, and sort of see what I want to focus on, because if I enable any of these new features, I'm going to have to test them, I'm going to have to communicate with my users. So it's a good way to build up your own plan, and you can do that across all of the Dynamics apps. There's usually a launch application event from Microsoft as well, and they have early access to the features and demo environments, which we don't get until they go into preview at HSO. So it's always worth watching the slick, highly polished Microsoft events. They're released usually on YouTube. There's normally an event you can sign up to and watch live, and then they'll release that video on YouTube, and the link is here if Debbie shares this round afterwards for you all to see. And the release timelines for this release are April 2026 to September 2026. I should say that nothing is guaranteed until it's actually out, though. So be aware that don't base any major releases until something is guaranteed is generally available, because sometimes they will move things slightly if the testing, if they need to do more testing or some updates, or if another feature takes priority. So the key themes, obviously, AI is going to get mentioned, but we're looking across finance and supply chain management here. So that some key themes are automation, the supply planning, communication with your suppliers, lots of warehouse improvements. So this is quite strange. I would say strange, actually, more of a departure, because finance was very Copilot heavy the past couple of releases, but not many chunky features. But that's changed this time around, and I could say the same about the warehouse as well. Several key themes carry over from 2025. Some features weren't shipped or have been modified and extended for this release. So as I say, don't ever rely on a feature until it's gone GA. You can certainly test against it, but don't nail down your adoption until you're absolutely sure it's going to be out. So business performance and planning. It's a suite of tools within Microsoft. I'll give a quick overview of how it hangs together after this. We've covered this before, so I'll be brief. It helps you monitor, analyze, optimize your business operations. So think of it as analytical and enabling decisions. You can bring data together from various sources, primarily Dynamics, but you can also use other third-party sources to build performance metrics, KPIs, data-driven decisions, etc. Analytics dashboards, AI-powered insights, and all that kind of stuff, and integration with other Dynamics apps. So what we've got in this release to enhance and extend, I think actually it was first released perhaps in 2024, maybe even 2023. But there's a manufacturing data model being added. So that allows you to see end-to-end visibility of your production process. So you can identify bottlenecks, reduce waste, capacity, analyzing production efficiency and machine usage if you monitor your machines. You can look at the quality insights, so you can track your defect trends and reworks. So enables some continuous improvement and cost savings across your production and manufacturing. So what it really does is it focuses on production orders, production transactions, route transactions, which is kind of how you achieve your production order, and production consumption to give you a clear view of value creation. So That's really useful for one of our many manufacturing customers. If you were looking at business performance planning and it didn't quite tick all the boxes, probably time for another look. So there's also an MCP. For those who don't know, we're in the world of AI now. So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol, and it's a standard that lets AI securely talk to your business systems on data in real time. So you'll see MCP all over the place now, and that's what it is. So it allows things like Copilot to connect in and get useful information. So the MCP for analytics is giving AI agents the structured access to the ERP analytics data and the tools it provides. So you can use the same definitions, give access to chatbots, etc., on the results from the business performance planning. Gives all of the data, analysis, insights, key metrics, all the dimensions and relationships you used, and even the semantic model of the data, so you can support consistent integration of the data. And you can also obviously Power BI and business report and business performance analytics can connect as well. This is a small one, but very useful for people as a more frequent refresh. I think it was twice a day before. Now it's hourly and it's incremental, so it's a lot quicker. Much more language supported, and there's also app integration, which is the information on this is a little bit sparse, but my take on it is it's an improved import approach, natively syncing the tables rather than kind of building a sort of traditional integration. It's unclear if it's bi-directional yet. I hope it will be, which could make you use better use of the planning data in FinOps. But that's the main ones I pulled out of business performance. So for those who haven't seen it, I'll just whiz through quickly. You can see it's a collection of tools which basically pulls together lots of sources, ingests all that data using standard Microsoft and Dynamics tools from your systems of record, Fabric, etc., any other third parties, and puts it into kind of traditional cubes, dimensions, using your managed data lake. It allows you to either use one of the pre-built models over that or build your own models. But the real intent is to get some automated insights, automated forecasting, and discuss with your colleagues the forecast. So whilst there's all this under the hood, you know, what you really want is quick time to value. So yeah, the models that we've talked about already, they come in for you. There's a lot of standard ones, but really what it does is it gives you this kind of thing. You know, you can have your standard reports, your forecasting, see what the system thinks for you, and you can also in the background kind of see what models have been used to create those forecasts, and then discuss on those forecasts here. So, you know, you can see this is, I might say, well, I don't agree with this, I want to change this number, and discuss with my colleagues. If it is something you're interested in, and we can do sort of longer sessions on that, so just reach out. So moving on to the rest of finance, I kind of split it into a few different sections. So first off is, you know, AI. We've all heard it a lot. What can it actually do for me? So what we're talking here is the more out of the box, just switch it on and use it type AI usage, rather than kind of build your own models and more advanced stuff. So yeah, your finance team is distracted doing work a machine can now do reliably. We're not trying to remove finance teams, but we want to release them to do the more value-adding work. As you can see the quote there, 30% faster financial close by 2028. So what you don't want to be doing is matching all the lines manually, chasing reconciliation exceptions, emailing based on that. I'm very sorry, this this purchase order is going to come in late, and thus that will affect your delivery date. All of those kind of things are kind of time wasting activity. Really, they're valuable to you and your customer, but they're not they're repetitive. So AI can do that, review the exceptions, and get back to adding value. And the two I pulled out of this release, the account reconciliation agent. So this isn't new. It was introduced in a previous wave, I forget which, I think it was 2025 wave 1. But in this wave, Microsoft have made significant investments across kind of like 3 or 4 areas. Matching accuracy, as you can see, more complex scenarios, one-to-many, many-to-many matches, fuzzy logic, tolerance rules, to just help you match more things together. Bulk actions, so you can now approve or reject multiple at once rather than working through them. Really time saving, especially at period end. It's something you'd assume you could do already, but historically you couldn't. The coverage is being expanded as well, so the inventory module has been added to sit alongside the other modules. Fixed assets, I think the fixed assets, project accounting are all future wave, but I will check on that. And then again, MCP integration. We talked about MCP earlier, so this is kind of going towards a fully autonomous integration where you can have an account agent talking to another agent, which may be orchestrating the close, so it can supply this information on your reconciliations to other AI agents and bots. The invoice capture, I couldn't decide whether to put this in process or AI, so we're going to put it here. We've already got quite a few customers live on this and using it. Firstly, the AI header matching has been improved. It now uses vendor data to better match your invoice headers to purchase orders. And crucially, it learns from your corrections. So if your APT manually fixes a MAC today, the system should remember that and process it the same next time. They've improved the side-by-side view, invoice PDF, lines, purchase order all on the same screen at the same time. You don't have to flip between screens to manually match exceptions, etc. So it's quite a lot better there. And the charge recognition system now automatically identifies and allocates header and line level charges on invoices, which previously caused some mismatches and a bit of tidying up downstream. So this is preview. I believe that invoice capture and the reconciliation agent are preview for 2026 September. So it's coming this way, but it's not quite there yet, which means the information is a little bit sparse, but worth keeping an eye on. And Microsoft have flagged that this is part of their broader AP automation investment, so there's more to come, and the intention is automate as much as you can within reason. So next, process and compliance. I've grouped up to highlight the elements which I think just improve how you use the system. A few quotes. Everyone likes stats. None of us know where they come from, but stats appear. 79% of CFOs are prioritizing automation to cut manual work. So if you're not doing it, everybody else is. And the system should help you do that. You shouldn't have to create these things from the ground up. And there's some other statistics there which kind of add color. So what have we got? Delay settlement. Doesn't sound a very fun feature, but it does decouple the payment posting from settlement. So high transaction volume businesses will feel this immediately. Any settlement areas in payments before used to freeze a payment run. Now these failed settlements are isolated, retried separately, and the actual payments post straight through, so you can still get the cash flow visibility improvement in real time. Financial tags. For those who are using these, they're a kind of lightweight alternative to financial dimensions. They're extending into payment journals and bank rec matching, so allowing you to kind of add color, analytical trail through your process without bloating your dimension structure, which could be a problem before. If you wanted to track something in a different dimension, it was only dimensions, whereas now you can have a slightly more lightweight alternative to that. Establishment of registration ID governance, cards on the table. This is not my area, so I had to talk to a colleague about this one. It's quite specific, but relevant if you operate across multiple states or in countries with e-invoicing mandates, I am told. So the short version is some jurisdictions require invoices to show which branch a transaction came from, not just the company. So the D365 now handles that automatically. So that's GA June 2026. If this sounds relevant to you, talk to us afterwards and we can see if it's something we can help you with. Subscription billing. So for those who've been using Dynamics for a while, it used to be called, I think, recurring revenue, or revenue recognition, sorry. So two things Microsoft are tackling here, performance and accuracy. On performance, like large billing runs and invoice generation at period end were slow. Well, could be slow, could be challenging and need tuning, but now they're getting significantly faster through parallel processing. So if you've ever had to watch a closed cycle grind through while a billing batch works through, you'll appreciate why this is important and very useful for those using it. So accuracy, corrections to how revenue is allocated when contracts are terminated, various approaches to reduce manual GL intervention and audit risk. So the detail on this one's quite technical and quite long. So if subscription billing is relevant to your business, definitely a follow-up conversation. And again, this is all preview September 2026 with no confirmed GA date. So treat it as watch and prepare. If it's relevant, come and talk to us and keep an eye on those GA dates and get testing in preview as soon as you can, if relevant. And as I say, I could have mentioned invoice capture here too, because some bits were AI, some bits were process. Bank reconciliation, 2 steps forward, a continuing challenge for most departments. The first already in public preview and GA in June. GA is generally available, if I haven't mentioned that already. Gives you visibility and control before anything posts. So you want to preview those matching results before you commit. You can go to the matches are put on a pending screen where your team can approve or reject before the ledger is touched. So it's great if you want automation but aren't ready to let it run completely unsupervised. The second landing in September again extends what the matching process can handle automatically. Cash discounts on early customer payments are now applied correctly without manual intervention. And for organizations running centralized payments across legal entities, those bridge transactions are now cleared automatically. So yeah, together those two sound like small things, but they do move things on quite significantly. More confidence in what the system is doing, fewer manual steps to mop up. So again, Microsoft have made it clear that full automation of bank statement reconciliation is a destination. So this wave is another, more bricks in that wall to get there. So this one sounds quite less exciting, but for me, this is a pretty foundational change. So the most significant thing for me on the finance roadmap this wave, which is quite interesting, is its journal. So the existing general journal, is one of the oldest parts of the finance code base. Microsoft aren't just enhancing it; they're completely rebuilding it. So it's a big vote for how long-term Microsoft's view is on the direction, and they want to be able to scale the system. They want to be able to perform at huge scale. So this delivers the first kind of slice, Foundation Wave 1. I'm calling it Foundation. That's my words, not Microsoft. So that includes ledger accounts only. There's a new UI and dramatically better performance on large imports. So the public preview again is September 26. No GA date yet, so watch and prepare. So what are we getting? Performance. One of the most common complaints is about the current journals is performance under load. Large imports, validations, posting batches, they can take time, especially at period end. So the new framework is designed to handle this significantly better. If you're running high volume journals, which a lot of you are, this should be really noticeable. So you'll be wanting to get on this as soon as you can. Again, this possibly the biggest reaction is the multi-company journaling. Currently, if you need to post across multiple legal entities, I think you need separate journals for each. This new one lets you enter vouchers for different companies within a single journal. Of course, limited to the legal entities your access covers. It sounds simple, but it sort of reflects more how group finance teams work. You don't want to be creating multiple journals. You want one to rule them all, as it were, structured by region, business unit, not by legal entity. Voucher level processing, errors and approvals handled per voucher. The validation is currently at the whole journal level, as far as I understand it. So this new framework moves the processing to the individual voucher within the journals. So a single bad voucher is isolated and dealt with separately, whilst everything else continues. New document type concept. Each transaction gets a document type, better lifecycle control, and I think this is probably groundwork for more intelligent processing in the future. Kind of framework stuff. DMF import. The import interface is now accessible directly from the journal UI. Finance users can manage bulk imports themselves without needing IT involvement every time. Now that sounds a small thing, but again, that's a really big improvement in my view. And customer accounts support has been added to the new framework. I think all of this is preview September 2026 as well. Tax calculations. Tax engine has been updated to allow taxes on the new journal framework, also within this Wave 1 scope. For those using the tax calculation service, if you're not, it's a hugely powerful tool we've used to great effect across quite a few of our customers now, even though the tool is relatively new. And as I mentioned, full intercompany support. Correct dimension defaulting. Currently, they don't default correctly on multi-line intercompany. They do now. So I think this is a good foundation. Much improved performance, which is the key one for me. Multi-company voucher level processing, and they're aiming for parity I think I mentioned the previous slide. I should have mentioned that there. So the future will be full classic parity, as in classic general journals. So the intent will be over time that those classic general journals are phased out in favor of this new and improved framework. So that's finance done for now. There is more in there. For those of you who are finance specialists, only interested in finance, have a good look. Reference the URLs I put up at the beginning, or contact us if you want to run through. As soon as some of those go preview, we will be wanting to demo them because some of them are really good. I know a colleague of mine, Gary Griffith, some of you may know, in finance transformation, is already messing around with some of the agents and getting them into a good demoable state. So supplier communication agent, this is a kind of holdover from the previous release wave. It's in preview now. Worth mentioning, I thought. Follow up with vendors on purchase orders and speed up purchase order updates based on the incoming vendor emails. So it's an AI agent to read your email inbox, find messages, and update your purchase orders accordingly, which is a huge time saver. If you're not looking at this, it's GA very soon. I think it's a hugely powerful little tool, and just shows you what AI can do in general. It's using AI to parse your email inbox, understand what that means, and then it's making a useful set of actions based on that. So just a quick, this was from our last wave release overview, so I won't spend too much time on it, but you get a nice work items view, the enhanced immersive home, things you need to be doing, follow up with purchase orders, where's my, there's a cash advance request, but what this will give you is like a one-stop shop, so you can see what the agent suggests you do next. This is how you set it up. Set some criteria, draft some emails, and on you go. Again, review the previous video if you're interested in this, or reach out to us because we're getting a demo ready for this. Supply chain, a bit lighter, this time round. I think finance and warehousing have got a bit more love. The supplier communications agent I just mentioned, the supplier engagement app, is preview May 2026. This is a kind of a newly adopted by Microsoft application, which they've enhanced significantly. It's two parts. There's an internal Power App workspace for your procurement team to manage the full supplier relationship, and an external Power Pages portal that gives your suppliers a proper self-service experience. So everything from onboarding through to RFQs, purchase orders, invoices, etc. It already sits on top of what's in supply chain management rather than replacing it. It's an additive thing, but it does include a Power App, which is a much better way of managing your suppliers. CTP, capable to promise in planning optimization. It's a new high-performance planning engine for D365 planning optimization, replaced master planning. Some of you may still be on master planning, but not many of you. So with this feature, planning optimization now protects material and capacity allocated to sales order lines with delivery dates confirmed. So it basically prevents you reallocating these resources to newer orders, which would cause you significant issues with your customers. So now your confirmed delivery dates should stay reliable. Customer commitments are honoured. But I think warehouse management for once deserved its own slide. So first off, we've got some smarter put away and picking. Dynamic item placement. So the system decides where stock goes based on arrival, based on policies you define, balancing the space and pick efficiency. So you shouldn't have to manually manage location directives for every single scenario. I'll be interested to see how that works in reality. Also, the spatial location intelligence. So the picking routes optimized using warehouse layout data. So not just kind of directives based. It knows how big your warehouse is, how it's laid out, and it kind of works out from there. Kind of a sat nav for your warehouse operations, I guess. Again, I'm really looking forward to seeing that one. So hopefully one of our warehouse gurus can get a demo together on that for us. Platform and integration. The labor management one was already mentioned in a previous one. So basically that should connect D365 warehouse management to third-party workforce systems, improving your labor planning and task execution. This is a bit boring, but very useful. Archiving your load data, so it keeps your database lean and performant. Now everybody's in the cloud and we're all having to pay for storage. Once some data has stopped being useful, you want it gone. Improve performance and pay less money for storage. So this will help do that. And finally, on operational improvements, serial and batch numbers in cluster picking. So the precise tracking of these tracked items during cluster picks, closing a bit of a compliance gap for regulated industries. That's a good one, and I know we'll be using that ourselves on quite a few of our running projects. Transfer order receivings with ASN. ASNs now drive the receiving process in the warehouse operations mobile, just reducing a few manual steps basically at the dock. And dynamic work classification via PowerFX. So this one is a little bit more technical, but configure how work is prioritized and classified using PowerFX expressions. Think if any of you have played around with Power BI, use that kind of Excel-ish formula type interface rather than code. So it's more flexibility, less dependency on IT, and just basically means you can do more as a power user without having to rely on your technical IT teams. Now, I would say more, but we're now at 28 minutes past, so I tried to keep it within the half an hour so you can all have your lunch and watch and see the things that we think are interesting. So for now, keep following us on HSO. Follow me if you're interested. Do contact us on and tell us what you want to see next. If you want to see demos, if you want to see more about something, if you want some deep dives on a specific area, do contact us and tell us, and we will try and help you. And thank you for your attention. We just flip to the next slide. So next, as I mentioned at the start, my colleague Shilin, who's a wizard with customer engagement, is going to take us through the similar sort of thing, but on the customer engagement side. So I think customer service, field service, sales, all that kind of thing. But the CE guys tend to get access to the app, the preview features earlier than the FinOps. So you may even see some demos, but I won't promise on Shilin's behalf. So thank you very much for your time, everybody. If there's any questions, we will close now, and we'll stop the recording, and you can start asking any questions you have after the close.